This is Temitope once again. Welcome back to One Stop Talk with Temitope. And I'm going to be having a very interesting discussion with a very special guest. I have with me today Mr. Oluwaseun. He is a public analyst. He is a commentator on several issues, very passionate about Nigeria and all the different things going on in the country right now. So we want to talk about the ban of Okada and tricycles in Lagos State. And that is what is really trending right now.
We don't have any other work except this work. Let the government answer us. Government, they have family. Government, they have children. Government, they have family. They cannot tell their family to stay indoor without working. We are begging on behalf of all of us. Let the government answer us. Government, please. Sowolu, please. Whatever you are, Sowolu, answer us. We are begging. We are begging you as a father. You are our father. Please don't let us astray. Please don't betray us because we voted you in. Sowolu, please help us. Help us. Our children are in the house crying. Our children are in the house waiting for us. Daddy, what did you bring to? What did you bring? We cannot go back there and tell our children to stay indoor. We cannot go back there to tell our children to stay in the house. We cannot go back there to tell our children not to go to school. Government, please answer us. We are.
Now, my question to you is it fair for Lagos State government to ban tricycles and Okada, knowing fully well the traffic situation in the country right now? Not just in the country, I'm talking about mostly in Lagos. Lagos is always jam-packed. There's always traffic jam all over the place. And it's this Okadas that can maneuver and go through all the bends and corners and get through traffic to get people to where they want to get to. Do you think it's fair for this to be happening right now?
All right, thank you. This is it. I think when we want to talk about government, let's look at it. You just said something very important. That's Lagos State. Now, I want to start from the point state. Now, what is a state? Now, that's what we should look at all these things from. A state talks about a group of people that find themselves in a geographical territory, living together in harmony. And now, that means group of people. Mm-hmm. Now, the group of people living together, they find themselves in a place where they feel, okay, there's comfort here, and they believe they are coming together will be peaceful. And like, let me just go straight to what I want to bring out of my talk. Now, a state is being managed by a government. Okay, so now looking at a state being governed by some group of people, elected to represent the people. Now, you can't just come up in one day and just impose a decision on the people. So that's the reason why I have to establish that definition of a state. Now, a state having group of people being elected to represent them is not a reason, should not be a reason for those people should now come with an unnecessary decision that will harm the people.
So you're saying that it is not fair?
Now, let me go straight to answer your question. Now, Lagos State represents a government. Mm-hmm. Now, you look at the definition of a government of the people, and I operate in the democratic setting. Mm-hmm. We have everybody will say democracy talks about government of the people, by the people, for the people. So if the people are not involved in the decision taking, then that means it's not fair.
It's not fair.
Yes. Now, this is my argument. Let us look at that decision. It might be right or not right, or maybe might be good or bad. The most important thing is that are the people involved in the decision making. Mm-hmm. Now, those people can, elect some hoodlums ignorantly, because sometimes when electing people, they just elect people based on their little results. Now, when it comes to giant stride, people representing people. Now, when someone is very good in your territory or in your locality, and you now say, okay, go and represent the state. Now, by the time the person gets to that position, now what the person is now representing is bigger than what the person is known for. It's just like someone managing 2 people before, and now ask the person to go and manage 20 or 100 people. That person may mess up. Someone may be good in managing 2 people and not good in managing 100 people. So I think that is what happened to most Nigerian politicians. You look at them that they are okay when they are before you elect them, and by the time they now get to the position, they start making wrong decisions. Now look at all these hundreds of thousands of Okada riders in Lagos. A lot of them, some of them just bought the Okada safe, maybe on loan on all that, and they now said, okay, they should go and pack it up.
Yes, we're having that discussion about how about those that actually got loans to finance their Okadas or their tricycles. Maybe someone just got a loan and they were planning to use this Okada to refund or to pay back the loan. What happens in that situation? I was watching TV and there was a lady who said this is the only means of earning a living, that she doesn't want to be sleeping around with men to make money. She wants to work, have a decent job, not sleeping around with men, that she doesn't want to use the body, that this is her only way of making money. And so, it's just, I think, for me personally, I just think that it's very, very unfair for the government to do this. Although they have made complaints about a lot of Okada riders or maybe tricycle operators that are involved in crime, that they use their bikes, some use their bikes or their tricycles to commit crime or stealing, robbery, stuff like that. But then again, there are a lot of them that are actually honest and honest people that are really trying to make a living.
Okay, now looking at all that talk and all that, let's look at it from the angle of community development. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes in terms of community development, governments may not take responsibility for some things, but this is my argument and I still insist on it.
What is that?
The people should be involved in decision making.
Well, how many times do the people, the Nigerian public, how many times do they get involved in the decision making process or in the passage of laws in this country? It seems like most of the times it's only those that are at the top that get to make the decisions for the public, whereas the public are kind of exempted. They're not really given the opportunity to really give their own opinion or their own input.
Now, I said that earlier. If you remember, I was talking about these people being elected as a result of their kindness to their locals, like their community. Like the people feel that they are okay, they are nice and all that. But when it now comes to governing crowd, they miss it. And look at Nigerian politics. I think what is really happening in Nigeria is that most of these guys, by the time they get into the House of Assembly, House of Senate and all that, they discover that it is just more than what they are thinking, because we have this cabal thing all over. So they are also being controlled by the superpower, by the kingmakers. So, but that's not an excuse anyway. But I think the major thing in Nigeria is that there is a kind of leadership that needs a serious orientation. I mean the whole system needs, I don't know how to, it's just, the topic is just too,
it's too broad.
It's deep.
Yes.
Because the point is, if you look at Nigerian politics, I think okay, let's just focus on the topic so that I will not be beating around the bush. Now, the point is this: Lagos situation is a very simple situation. The riot going on, all those stuffs going on in Lagos right now, the protests by the Okada riders and all that, shouldn't have taken place. It's not something that it's a very simple thing. Lagos State wants to take a decision involving the people. It's a very simple thing. All you just have to do is just to roll out a kind of maybe a form or something for everybody to, maybe they can declare that, okay, we need 5 million signatures for people who don't want Okada again.
Or maybe vote. Maybe they can
vote or do something.
Yes.
It's a very simple thing. And even when they now want to eventually take that decision, after they have agreed that, okay, the whole of Lagos wants the ban of Okada riders and all that, there is what they call transition. Like, they can also create another, maybe 1 year.
At least give some time.
Yes,
for the public to get accustomed to it.
Yes. So,
and then how about not just that? I think, how about providing an alternative means, not just of transport, but to solve the traffic situation in Lagos? Because that's one of the main big things about Lagos State. Whenever I go to Lagos, I get frustrated because of the traffic jam all the time. Getting stuck in traffic for hours on end.
The traffic issue in Lagos is something that may be very, very difficult to work out, because the point is Lagos is number 3 when it comes to city population. So over 30 million people living within a city, a state. Is something that might be very difficult to really work out for now.
Yes.
So, but the most important thing is that taking any decision by the executives or by the leaders without involving the citizen, the indigent, will be a big slap on our citizens, because the point is they are there because of these people. So these people now, they are crying all over and they are making noise all around. It shows that they are not okay with the decision.
And a protest broke out today between the Okada riders, the tricycle operators, and the police. A lot of gunshots were reported to have been dispersed, and a lot of things going on. So I just think, for me personally, I really agree with what you said. There should have been like a transitional period, and then they should have been alerted before this. It was just had it done just like that. It was like a shock. They weren't even given any time to really get accustomed to the whole thing. Although there was a time when Okadas were banned in Lagos. Was this in parts of Lagos?
Yeah,
there was a time.
Yeah.
So, but now it's like all over Lagos State now.
About 5 or 6 local governments or so. And the major districts
in Lagos.
So I just feel that when you see government taking a decision and the people are protesting, is an evidence that there is a kind of a bad or wrong decision on ground. So if you see people protesting, there is, because before people get to that point of protesting, it's already on their neck. So they're already on the wall, like putting their back on the wall and all that. So there's nothing they can do. They have to feed their family. They have to, a couple of these guys, that's what they used to feed their family, train their children in school and all that. So you can imagine they will now sit down and they'll be willing to die. That's why they can face the police and, they are ready to die. They are dead already. The source of income is being taken away. The person is dead. So the person is a do or die affair. It's becoming a do or die affair. So if care is not taken in the next 3-4 days, there might be war in Lagos, possibly. And that is the truth.
I pray not.
So that God will take control. That they can still reverse the decision.
Wow. But one of the complaints, or one of the reasons why they did this, was because of the fact that some of the Okadas, or maybe some of them, are hired to perpetrate crimes. That's one of the reasons why they actually banned it. What do you think can be done in that situation? So of course, it's a very, very valid reason to put a stop to it, but then again, it's a big inconvenience to a whole lot of other Okada riders and tricycle operators that don't do crime. So what do you feel can be done in that situation?
If you look at it, it's a sign of kind of an irresponsible society. A society, or can I blame it on society? Okay, it's both, because the society also elected the leaders. So without the society, there will be no leaders.
Even with the leaders as well.
So altogether,
it goes back to what you were saying too, that the public, they don't really have an input when it comes to the processes or the passage of laws, even when it comes to leaders being elected. Do you think the public really has a hand in choosing those who will lead? In
the country we have today, Nigeria, I don't think it is so, because the point is we have the political rigging and all that. Like the last election, a lot of people. Okay, let's talk about Ekiti, Osun, and then what other states? Okay, look at the Igbo state situation. Let's look at that. Like gubernatorial position is now becoming like as if it's one house prefect that maybe the principal just come and say, okay, we don't want this house prefect again, let's choose another house prefect. You can see what they have turned Nigeria into. Security should always be ahead of the community, ahead of the society. So the security should always be ahead of every crime. So that they should not be bothered about the means in which, or the method in which the criminals are using. They should not be bothered about it. What they should be bothered about is how they can always be ahead. Or should I say they should not be bothered? They should be bothered, but not to stop the method or means, but to be ahead of. Because what do we call policing? Policing is to capture, to protect. So you protect, like, okay, when we were kids, we used to do police and thief and all that. So we catch the thief. We don't kill the thief. We don't attack the thieves. We catch the thieves. Also, police and thief, as a kid, when we play, it represents a giant harm that can secure the society. So you can capture the crime. You can easily capture the crime as if you have captured nothing. So if a society is developed to that standard, should not be bothered about guys that are planning one crime or the other. America is not bothered. There's crime all over the world. Every day there's crime. So like Iran and America was not bothered that maybe they could start any war. Let them start it. Because they were ready, they have the full capacity to capture anything. So that's why they are not bothered about how Iran wants to. Either Iran is having missile or they don't have it. You don't give a damn about that. So what I'm just trying to say is that we should always be our society, the society we find ourselves, Nigeria right now, we are not taking any we're not taking any I don't know the best word to use for that. Okay, let me just put it in one sentence. We are not doing anything reasonable about security of the people. And that is why we're thinking that Okada ban is okay, this guy is that someone just get a loan of 200,000 naira and the next day Okada is banned. That person will be ready to do any crime. Because now the Okada is there, the loan people will be on his neck. So that person will be ready to.
But don't you think there are bigger security issues apart from banning Okada riders and tricycle operators? Don't you think there are much more bigger security issues in Nigeria than banning Okada people and tricycle operators?
That's exactly.
Why is it? Well, of course the ban is on a state level, anyways. But isn't there even in Lagos State, isn't there the bigger security issue in Lagos State than just banning Okada riders?
That's exactly my point, because from Medan, like Lagos has always been a highly crime.
The rate of crime is very high.
The rate of crime in Lagos is like beyond explanation. That's the truth. I don't know the best way to rate it. So I will not over exaggerate it. But the point is, crime in Lagos is just first class. Mm-hmm. Every day you see picking pockets, picking phones, and all that. So if you now have some young guys trying to survive, doing their business, using the Okada and all that, it should not be. If we have 1,000 among 100,000. Or if we have 10,000 among 100,000, the 10,000 should not now ruin the life or destroy the life of the 90,000. So what they're doing in Lagos now is that they're saying, okay, because of 1%, let's destroy 10%. Or because of 10%, let's destroy 100%. That's what they're doing ignorantly. But I think these leaders are so comfortable that they're so blind to the masses. They don't understand what so many of these guys are going through. Because if you have been in a comfort zone, proper comfort zone, you may not understand what people at the low class are going through. You may not understand when there's no food, when there are 4 kids, and even the wife, that's about 6 people in the family, and there's just one person working to take care of 5 people.
And a lot of people, they use this Okada to survive, yes. to earn a living. Even the tricycle operators, that's what they used to eat. So I just think, like you said, the public should have been actively involved, when it comes to them putting this ban in place and stuff like. They should have thought about it. It should have been an all-inclusive decision, not just a decision made from the top. Well, that is the end of the podcast for today. Thank you so much for listening. Of course, I want to thank Mr. Oluwaseun for being on the podcast today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I am Temitope Oluleye once again. Join me for another episode of One Stop Talk with Temitope. The next episode will come out very, very soon. Thank you so much for listening.